Okay, so still on the subject of education, I noticed our previous segment. There were a lot of comments, there were a lot of responses, especially on TikTok and other platforms. So this one, we want to take it further and make people understand better where we are coming from about the education system. We are not against education, and I think it's something that people needs to learn to understand and to learn to separate between education, learning, and schooling. The school system, the schooling system, the colleges, universities, and that system is what we are calling to revisit, to design a curricula that is suitable for us. Because what we need to understand is education is a tool. So you can't try and protect a tool than what you need to use that tool for. What you are expecting to get from using this tool is more important than the tool itself. So that now calls for a mind of understanding. Because if you are educated from a system that is corrupt, it's hard for you to realize the corruption that is in a system that designs you. Because education has got the power to design a person. So I want to take it from the book of Genesis, from God. Okay, God creating humans, creating the human race. He did not start by just creating us. He created everything else first before he made men on this earth. So I want to take it from a father perspective. God demonstrated fatherhood from every levels. You can be a father to the world. You can be a father to a nation. You can be a father to a province. You can be a father up to a household. God demonstrated fatherhood from the level of the world, coming down to a father to a family setup. So that's the things that we need to imitate about God. We are still on education. So God created things. He was teaching us by creation. He had to put things in place for the child that he is to give birth on earth. Before making Adam, God started by putting things in place. The earth, the vegetation, the whole creation, everything that Adam would want was put in place first before Adam existed on this earth. So what God prepared before the man was created is called inheritance. And inheritance is the backbone of everything. So if we are going to have an education system, it has to be able to secure our inheritance. If the education system cannot secure our inheritance, then it's questionable. Who designed our educational system? Okay, coming back to the book of Genesis, I want you to read the scripture. That's Genesis 1 from verse 24, right? God created things. He is setting an example of fatherhood. That's why I was talking to parents. Every parent. If I say every parent now, I'm not talking to a household level alone. I'm not talking to a family setup level alone. I'm talking to every level of fatherhood. From family setup, provincial, national, going up. Until we're talking to the whole Africa as a continent. Because I'm focusing on Africa because we have been colonized at a certain point in time. And we are trying to deal with the effects of colonialism. when we were colonized, there are some things, when Moses took the children of Israel from Egypt, he dealt with Egypt, within Egypt. But after they left Egypt now, he was still dealing with the Egypt that was in their minds. And that is the most difficult part. That's what we have as we stand. We are dealing with the effects. That's why we call this the great snares. We titled this message the great snares. There are snares. There are sageworks that were built. How are we going to realize them? Okay, let's move on. Can you read the scripture now?
I'll read from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, from verses 24 to 26. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make men in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air."
Can you wait there? Can you wait there? Are you seeing where I want to start correcting now? As a father, if you are listening to me, as a parent, this is the example that God set for you. Before you give birth to a child, God is preparing, He's planting. He went even on to plant a garden, the Garden of Eden. He planted it. He nurtured everything for the child, for Adam. Before Adam is there, we have got some races who do this. They don't give birth. They might give birth at 40 or above, after working, preparing for the same children they are going to give birth. But maybe our tradition, just after getting married, the next thing is to have a child. I don't know where did we get that education from. But those who colonized us before, they don't give birth to unplanned children. Even if you plan them, after planning them, what have you planned for them? Because God created us and planned for us before giving birth to us. So you can't tell your child that I send you to school. There should be an inheritance. I'm coming there. Let's go on.
I'll repeat verse 26. And God said, "Let us make men in our image, after our likeness.
Yes.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth."
So God is saying, let us make men now for them to have what? Dominion. To have what? Dominion over our inheritance. The inheritance that I've given them, I'm now making them to have dominion. So as a parent, muri vabereki makanditeerera, chamuri kufana kutanga kufunga ndechoti kana makafeira, apa ndiri kutokorekta zvamakafoira kare. Kana musina kuzvifoira mega, chakaita kuti muzvifoire ndo chatinoda kukorekta. Makatozvara vana vamusina kugadzirira an inheritance. God prepared things and he said, let us make men and let them have dominion over. Dominion over. What are your children having dominion over? You are giving birth. You have 2, 3, if not 6. What have you prepared for them before giving birth to them? At household level, at a family setup level, at a provincial level, at a national level, continent, Africa. God prepared an inheritance first. Okay, Proverbs 19. Musha nemunda zvinobva kuvabereki. Look for that scripture. Mukadzi akanaka anobva kuna Mwari. Zvega zvatotsanangura kuti kana mwana achizonamatira paine chekuti anamatire chibve kuna Mwari, mukadzi akanaka. Asi musha nemunda, inheritance has to come from the parents. Your parents are responsible for making an inheritance. So we need to now open our eyes to see things that are compromising an inheritance. An inheritance. Proverbs 19 what?
Proverbs 19 verse 14. Houses and riches are an inheritance from fathers.
Yes.
But a prudent wife is from the Lord.
Houses and riches. So for your children to be prosperous, please, let's not waste prayers directing them to the wrong place. God is telling us here that houses and riches should come from your fathers. It's an inheritance. And if you are going to pray for something, pray for a wife. So we have people who are praying for things that they shouldn't be praying for, but it was supposed to be provided by the fathers, whether at a national level, a family level, a continent level, or at the world, a global level. I don't know. So as a father, you need to provide, you need to secure an inheritance for your children. So my point now was, if we have to look at our education system, because the education system that we are using today is not ours. I asked a simple question last time, if you can answer this on behalf of everyone, men of God. I said, take for example, you have invaded me. You invaded me, you needed something from me. And at a certain point, I got my freedom from you, from your oppression. Then you still have an opportunity to educate my children. What would you do? Ndiwe uneshauri kuda kwandiri wambondiri kuisa ukandioppressa. Ndokuzowanawo zvangu rusununguko kubva kuoppression yako. Ndawana rusununguko iroro, but still uchiri nemukana, uchiri necontrol over education yevana vangu. Because education is not starting from now. We trace it back even to the Garden of Eden. After God created an inheritance and planted a garden, something very special was given to humanity, and the devil came educating them. So if there is something that is powerful against your inheritance, your success, it should educate you something. The devil came and say, you need to eat from this tree and you'll be wise. So now the danger is, if you get the wisdom that was provided to you by the serpent, for me to try come and help you now. Oh, akadyiswa kuti uchiwe mudzi kuti wakadya. Ndopandosangira basi. Our education system should accommodate. Okay, I want you to look at this. Let's look at our demographic dividend as a nation. Statistics, not statistics as such, but it's if you check, if you search, you will find that the working age population is rated from 15 maybe to 60. I want you to do that search. Okay, the working age is from 15 to 60. Then you have an educational system that graduates students at 25 to 30. If the working age is rated from 15 to 60, then how many years have we lost already if we are going to benefit as a nation or as a continent from our demographic dividend? What should we do with our education system? We need to design a curriculum that blends industry, practical, theory, and exposure to financial literacy and entrepreneurial skills. So we don't want this college and university thing. We need to invest in something, a concept of vocational trainings and technical trainings, and we blend it with the industry. We partner with the industry and sectors. So a child will be focusing on the program within the sectors that are in line with the area of the field of that child's study. We are trying to balance things that are compromised already. If we look at our population, we have got a lot of people who are still working who doesn't fall into the working age population. Okay?
It's said here, the government of Zimbabwe has passed the Labor Amendment Act to increase the minimum wage age for work from 15 to 16 years.
But in general, okay, 15 to 16, that's okay. But the programs that we're doing, they graduate a student at above 20. Most of them, graduation is above around 23, 25 to 30. That's when they are graduating. And they are graduating, they don't have any financial stability. They are broke. Because we want to tackle, we want to deal with reducing poverty, right? If we have a poor community, there is no way we expect to have an improved nation or standards or an economy that will improve. So there are factors that we need to look at a perspective. So we are saying here, if we tailor an education system, that's last time I said school, I'm talking of compulsory education. If compulsory education is given, let's say 6 to 7 years, and maybe at grade 5 or 6, compulsory education ends there. We are now taking our students, our children, they start specializing. The project or the program that they are doing, area of study where this child is focusing on, they take their careers from as early as 10 to 12 years. They start focusing on that. We train them, we educate them, we blend our education system to provide necessary information. You know, if you revisit our education system, you will find that the programs that we are doing, starting even from the colleges, before we come to programs that we do like medicine or any other program that you might be doing. If you look into it, there is a lot of unnecessary information that we waste time consuming. There is information that we learn about, knowledge, and that we don't even want. We don't immediately need that knowledge. So we need to build a curricula that offers what is necessary, what we need during our career. If we get into the field, what is it that we really need? There are some information, there's some knowledge that we need to share off for a time when you can now revisit it when there is need according to your career now. Because you can't have everything. It's over information. We are giving a lot of information, we're consuming a lot of information at the time when we should be concentrating on the most important things. So you will find that we are graduating students who doesn't have experience. They don't have financial stability. They don't have entrepreneurial skills. They don't have the necessary things. They don't have them. So if we have our children starting as early as 15 to be in the industry, they are still learning, but we are partnering with the industry and the sectors. So during their learning, they've got exposure to practical and to the real-time challenges within the industries and the sectors that is aligned with the programs they are doing and the study they are doing. So they are working on the real projects, and working on them, they are now having working experience by graduation time. And now we are investing their school fees. I'm not saying let's stop paying school fees. No, we can still pay school fees as usual. But the school fees that we're paying now is not paid for tuition. It's paid to be invested we are investing the school fees gradually to make a profit or to build a certain amount by the time they are completing, the same time they were supposed to be completing university and graduating. They now have an amount that accumulated in a period of maybe 17 years. Okay, so they now have funds to leverage their skills and to support their career. So we don't have children who are starting from scratch, but they are starting from somewhere. At their graduation level, they are able to employ. They are able to start successful businesses. They are able to fund themselves. This is now real investment compared to what we call investment at times, because we can say we're bringing in investors, okay? But the investors that are coming here, they're bringing their funds, they're bringing in, and the amount of, if you look at the value of resources they are extracting from Africa, getting out of this continent with, or from Zimbabwe, what they are exploiting from this continent cannot be equal to the funds they are bringing. So yes, we might call it investment, but to me it's not an investment. Imagine if we raise a generation this way, we still have ZIMSEC or whatever supervising and monitoring the quality of education. They are doing the assessments or the examinations as usual, but we have just eliminated a system that is stealing time from us. We don't need our population to start working at 30 broke and not financially stable. That's a scam for Africa. If that system works, it works, but not for us. If we don't open our eyes to see that, that's why we have them. After they start working, they are ready to be exploited in the name of being successful. Why? Because they wasted a lot of time. I asked you last time and I said, would you tell a 60-year-old man that Rome was never built overnight? If that man gets in power, he graduated at 30 or 25. He worked to acquire experience maybe for the next 5 years to 10 years again, right? He got an opportunity to be in the government, in a certain ministry, and that man is broke at 60. He had an opportunity, even if it was me. I'm broke at 65. This is my opportunity to feed my pocket, and you tell me Rome was never built overnight. It doesn't make sense, because I'm already late. I need to secure an investment for myself and for my kids that I failed for some time. So it's a system that was designed by someone. And if we don't dissolve that system and build our own curricula, we're doing nothing. We need to look at these factors. We are not benefiting from our demographic dividend. We're not securing our inheritance. If you follow the book of Deuteronomy, if God went on to call Abraham, and he said to Abraham, I'm going to bless you. Where I'm sending you, I will bless you and I will make you a blessing. Everything that God said to him. When he got to the land of Canaan, God came to him and said, I will give this land to your descendants. I will give to your descendants. God is not talking to the descendants. He's talking to Abraham, to the father. To give the inheritance that will be inherited by the descendants is giving to Abraham. So what the descendants need is not given to them direct, but it's given to the father. Okay? He even went on, if you go to the book of Deuteronomy now, God went on even to distribute land. When Joshua came to the land of Canaan now, he came and he even went on to distribute to the tribes. By lot, give this to the tribe of Benjamin, to the tribe of, they distribute land, and there are resources. That's an inheritance. So don't separate education or your education system with inheritance. Someone who designed this system, let me show you this. let's say we have got a company that is building a product, inventing a cell phone, okay? If you are building a product, we need to know the pros and cons. Before we give this to the consumers, we know what it is good for. If there are some effects, we know them before we even give it to you, right? So they create their product, they come up with it, they design everything, they do what protects their site. And to tell you the truth, there are versions that you call new versions, which are new to you, not to the one who created the product. They knew the 30th generation that you haven't seen today. They had it, they had that idea, and they said, no, let's start with this idea. We upgrade as we go so that we get money from the consumers. So they should design the first thing they give you until you see the disadvantages, or you are very late to see that they fabricate the disadvantages and they bring another version. Until you see the disadvantages, they bring another version. Until they get to the 30th generation, if it's an iPhone or whatever, they had it before. But you, Manje, your educational system teaches you to, by schooling, the smartest person is someone who knows the correct answer. You need to be correct to be smart, right? So you are easy now to give products, descriptions, and manuals and everything. The moment you give you those prescriptions and everything, you start knowing. You are limited to what we gave you. You have knowledge according to what we dished out. We choose what to avail and what to retain. Okay? That's the same now. It's not all about products. We can come to programs. It's a program. It's a product. So if you design a program, you know what this program should give you within an individual. A system, an education system being designed is designed to give a result. There is a result that we want to get from this tool. So the program that we are giving you is a tool to give us a result. They design the programs and they know the advantages and the disadvantages of these programs. You might not agree with me, especially if you are a product of a certain program. Okay. You might answer me saying, we are now designing our own programs. Yes, you are designing them from the knowledge that you got from a program. And the program masters you. How does the program masters you? The one who designed it formulas. So if you are going to design any project in future, you are designing a program within the using the formulas that you got from the real person who designed the system. So the formulas that you are using, if you don't own those formulas, you are not the master. The master is the one who owns the formulas that he handed down to you. So the owner of the formulas is the owner of the system. So if you don't change the system, you don't even change the formulas. Changing the curriculums or the programs, you are changing them within the walls of the formulas. I don't know if you are going to get me. Yes. We need to change our education system if we are going to change our communities, if we are going to change our continent, Africa. Let's look at the effects of the systems that we were given, that we were handed over. Because tinowandirwa nebasa rekunamatira vanhu zvinhu zvisingadi prayer. We just want to imitate God. As fathers, what are we preparing for our children? Are we able to secure their inheritance? So this idea now of investing the school fees that is consumed by tuition, we are now investing it. And we can look at things like social security nets and the subsidies to help the industries and sectors that are partnering with the education system. So we are saying a child is learning, let's take for example some practical jobs, and we say you are a quantity surveyor or an engineer, you are working from the field within an industry. You are a tech person, you're doing maybe finance or what, you are learning from within the industry. You have exposure to the real-time challenges of that because there is evolvement. Our industries are evolving with speed. Our technology is moving with speed. So there is a lot that is moving, and you see that someone who graduated a year or 2 years ago, they now need to upgrade themselves. Right? They still need to upgrade their education. So they took time consuming unnecessary information. There is a lot, you can agree with me if you graduated for a certain program. There is information that you are not even using now, and you are never going to use it, but you spend years consuming that information. You're never going to use it. We need to shelve that information and focus on something that is needed now, immediately. Then if your program now or your career tells you need this, go for it during the course. So you can't end education. You can still learn as you go. But we need to have students who are graduating with a financial backbone. So the monies that you are exhausting funding tuition, that's the design of the system that we were given, to make sure we'll be funding tuition, not investment. You will never build an inheritance for your children. But if you're going to change it, let's have the current parents start building an inheritance as their children are learning. They are learning from within the industry. They are working. Because if you are pursuing your career, let's say watanga kutopinda mu industry at 15, right? At 15 paunosvika 20 uri mu industry, uri kudzidza, uri kushanda, right? Tiri kukurudzira internship. Tiri kukurudzira kuti vana vave occupied within the real projects, real sectors, all sectors that you may think of. They are within, they are learning and they are doing. They've got exposure to the field. So even the companies, they will reduce on the wages and stuff, because these ones, they are not paid as the experts are paid. But look now, by the time they become experts, they have got finances because we have been investing their money. So pavari kushanda vari kutobhadharwa a certain amount, right? Chirikave shoma, but remember your parents are paying fees which is being invested. So by the time you are graduating, you have got 50,000 to 100,000 within your account. If you collaborate and say, no, we want to start an investment, 4 or 5 of you, that's $500. You don't need an investor to come from Europe, from somewhere out there to invest. These children are ready to invest. And even the industries and the companies that were working with them during their learning, they're now looking at the kind of capacity these children have. These students, they are graduating, they've got this capacity, they've learned this, they're experts. Let's invest in them. We build ourselves. That's now investment, not exploitation that we might call investment somehow. So yes, this is something that I might go on and if you want to say something before I conclude.
Yeah, my question is, but as it stands, if I remember very well,
yes,
as Africa, tagara titone a rate of unemployment, it is serious.
Yes.
It might take decades to curb that.
Yes.
So how do we go about it as a continent? If you are specifically looking at Africa on its own,
it's large.
Because our industries now
yes,
and we are unemployed. So we need to clear a generation. This is one space here which put them in the industry. For now hatirina space yekuisa vakuru vatogara mudzimba vasina zvekuita. We don't have space, hatina capacity. How do we build capacity as a nation?
Okay, that's good. So vamatotadza kudhara vamatovatadza ende hamusi kutotarisira kuvagona. Handiti kudhara hamusi kukwanisa kutovapa mabasa, variko vari kutoita zvavari kuita, vamwe vari kutozviti vakuhasila, vamwe vari kutoita kuti zvikutora kuti vagara vatotadzikwa. So are we ready to fail again those who are coming because we failed those who are ready, who are at the end? That's why my angle is we make sure we invest the school fees for these ones. We are targeting a generation that is coming ahead of these ones. Tatovatadza ende vari kutoshingaira, vari kutotry zvavari kutry already. So the industry that we have, you brought in a point yekuti maindustries acho atitori nawo ari kutoremerwa kuti agone kuto accommodate variko kare vacho, right? But these ones are coming in to learn. Anditika avasati vane dambudziko rekuti vane mhuri, vane load iri kumashure, vari kuuya kuzodzidza. Anditika so tiri kuva expose to practical and theory and everything. But mari yavo yanga vachifanira kunge vachibhadhara tuition iri kuinvestwa somewhere. So muno muindustry mavari kana masectors or wherever matavapinza vachidzidza from here, tabatsira the same sectors kuti padzanga zichida kuita mawages akakura dzareducer, panga pachida labor yakakura, ivavo vacho vari kutocontributa, they are working as they are learning. Okay, but tiroda kusecure their funds kuitira kuti pachagraduate vanhu ava hapana ari kugraduate achida kutsvaga basa. If they want to work, they can work, but they are still financially stable even to start their own businesses and create more jobs. Okay,
I get it. And also, atina ere patinozoita kind of like we are venturing into child exploitation or
how?
Because I believe cinema laws are not against child exploitation.
Yes.
Zvinotoitika kuchina, right? Zvine vamwe vari kutoona zvakashata. They are exploiting children and it's to the best of their interests. They are earning a lot from exploiting children. I don't know
who is earning a lot from exploiting children.
Tine vana vari kugadzira magadgets vari kutengeswa on Amazon.
Yes.
Nevana.
Yes.
But vana ava they are not paid according nemashandiro avaita, maybe because tikuti vari
kudzidza ndizvo.
But on the contrary, company iri kungoita mari. So mwana agadzira iPhone akapuwa $2, iPhone ichitengeswa $4,000, which means the company yabenefita more than.
So ndo pandiri kuti manje the same company iri kupartner with the education system, right? And there is supervision yana ZIMSEC or whatever. They are supervising the quality of education and all these things. So it's, I am a man of God. I'm just bringing out the wisdom, and someone has to think how best to handle this or to throw it away, right? But if this company is contributing to the learning of the same child, and the parent now has got an opportunity to make an investment to build an inheritance for this child, at graduation this child is much better because they are starting at 50,000 and above. How about a child who is not being exploited anyhow? We are paying for tuition and stuff, and after graduation the same person is broke and they don't even have jobs. They're not able to start any building. They don't have financial literacy and entrepreneurship skills because they consumed a lot of time learning some unnecessary information. Yes, with necessary and important information, but at graduation they now need to pursue experience. They are 25, experience 10 years to 5 to 10 years experience to get a stable employment, and still they're talking of salary, not even enough. So it's a way of raising a generation of, or a population that is poor and corrupt. That's why we have corrupt leaders, corrupt in every area. We might have corrupt leaders. The last thing that is left is to kuita madhiri. Wese ari pabasa, vese vacho vakagraduate vakadi akutotsvaga zvimwe zviri corrupt zvekuita kuti aite mari. Why? Because akanonoka. But these ones, if they graduate at 20, achigraduate aine 100,000 in the account, the company that she was working with was contributing something. Even paari kushanda ari kunzi ari kuexploitwa, but ari kutoti vari kuexploitwa ende ane problem because haasi kuda kuti chinhu chiitike ichi. Munozopepuka mukafundisa vana nenzira enda vachanobuda vachinzi vagraduate vachikwanisa kupa mumwe munhu basa, vachikwanisa kutanga mabusinesses, vachikwanisa kuita mainvestments. So you shouldn't have people who are able to invest and you build your things. So let's have a system that secures inheritance. And tikaramba takabatirwa education, and unoziva kuti kubatirwa nemunhu asipo. I don't have problem with those who colonized us or those who invaded us before, because they are not here. Kana kuine vakatosara vana vavo vari kutoitawo zvavari kuita, handiti? But the effects of what they did in that time are still haunting us, and if we are not careful, we might not see it.
Yeah, I remember you asked the very same question from the beginning. Then it was going through my mind. So if actually I have an opportunity to teach your children, after we had a quarrel, or we were in some sort of a misunderstanding, what I have to do now is I'll feed them poison, actually.
Yeah, and it's not a misunderstanding as such.
Yeah,
you needed something from me, right? And you had to invade my territory because you still need my inheritance, right? Then I got my independence from you. I got my freedom from your oppression, but you still have an opportunity to teach me, to educate me, because that's the same concept. The devil wanted something about the people. He said for an opportunity to educate them. If you can only educate, and now you grab that education and you keep that system, you remain with it, you hold on to it. So the problem is not with someone who educated you then. The problem is with you, because you are not able to wake up, open your eyes to see that this thing is costing us. Yes, it's beneficial, but not to you.
So in actual fact, you're saying, so their education system was to weaken the generations.
Yes.
So they might not do it at one point.
Yes.
But gradually, as we go, and the generations become weaker until we can come back again.
Even if you don't come back again, but look, colonialism. These countries, these guys who colonized us before, they wanted our inheritance. We don't want to ignore that. So they exploited us. We were exploited. Africa was exploited. They looted a lot of minerals and resources from Africa, right? But now, at the end of the day, we are going to open our eyes, or we're going to fight to have our land back. So what should we do now to still have control over the resources and the inheritance, even if you are not present? That's how you should think if you are a wise person.
We obviously school you to bring those.
Yeah, we give you something that you consider quality.
And you bring for yourself.
You bring for yourself.
We no longer want to be there.
We don't want to be there. Even your leaders can give us gold and diamonds for a little. And it's starting from. So that's why I'm dealing with our demographic dividend. If we have young generation working, if it was possible for Africa, listen to me, a 15-year child should be working, not just learning, working, making money. If we do so, anyone who is coming to tell you that you are exploiting children wants you to remain poor. If we have, okay, why are they saying the working age is from 15 to 64 or to 60? If someone who is 15 years old is not working within the education system, why? So this is a lie, right? Why are they presenting it that way? If you search on the internet or wherever, the working age population is from 15 years. But our continent, the education system allows you to start working at 25 and above. Let's say at 20, okay, but at 20, you are still searching for experience. So you need 10 more years working for experience to get a stable employment at 30. You were supposed to be rich at 30. So imagine we have a generation that we invested their school fees. This is something that fathers need to think about. Fathers, I told you we got fathers at every level, from a household, a nation level, up to a continent and a global. So fathers need to think, what is it that our children have as inheritance? That thinking now is corrupted within this system, because those fathers now, if you look at it, I was saying last time, for you to contest as a president, you need to be above 40, right? Let's get back to the Bible. I want you to search, there is a king who started ruling at 7 years, not 17, 7 years old, a king, and another one at 14 years old. And if you follow, you hear the Bible telling you that they did well with the priests. They did what was right before God. A king, 7 years old. Your mind and your educated mind will never allow you to agree with me on this one, but the Bible tells it. How did they become rulers at such a tender age? Look for that scripture. So I'm not saying we should have those like young rulers, but I'm just opening your eyes to see that what we think you need to be of age to do doesn't take you to be of age to do, but it takes capacity and conditions that are nurtured. So a ruler, even if that ruler is young, but they are financially stable, they are not hungry for power, they are not hungry to feed their pockets because they are late, those rulers can exercise democracy and autonomy. And that is what was stolen from us by systems that were put in place for us. Why, men of God, are you talking of this? Preach the gospel. This is the gospel. We don't waste time praying for things that doesn't need us to pray for. We now have corrupt minds in the church. People are coming in the church expecting the impossible. They don't even need a relationship with God, but they are searching for how can I make money, methods, and a miracle unusual. We try to force God to do things that He should not be doing. He provided a lot for us, an inheritance that we have. What are we doing with it?
Okay, it's from 2 Kings chapter 22 from verse 1. Mm-hmm. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign.
8 years old, he began to reign.
And he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. And his mother was Jedida, the daughter of Adiah of Boshan.
Yes. Go on.
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord.
An 8-year-old king.
And walked in all the way of David his father, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left.
So we are saying an 8-year-old king did what was right, and even walked in the ways of David. He never turned to the right or to the left. Can we have such manner of leaders in Africa? If they are getting into leadership when they are broke at over 60. I don't blame them for trying to feed their pockets. I blame the system, not them. So we don't have a problem with any leader. All the leaders, they just need to look at the system. From the educational system. The education system, what is it that the education system is stealing from us? It's stealing time. It's stealing inheritance. It's stealing the demographic dividend. So we are not going to have a stable nation. No matter how intellect we are, no matter how educated we think we are taught to copy. If you are robbed of your self value, you now try to drive value from those whom you consider having value. The reason why, if we have blacks, if they show up here, they want to show you we have money, they want to dress in a way to show you I've got money, they try to show off. Why? Because we were robbed of our self-value. If we have a white person here, they don't have to just skin yake ichitongomira motanga kuziva kuti anayo chero asina imi munotata nayo. Havatodi kurwira their self worth because rudzi rwavo rwakagara rwakangonzi ruri worth. Nyaya yekuti takambobirwa our self worth. So wherever you show up, you want to try and show that I have it. That's the problem with our nation, our continent. We need to correct these systems to benefit us, to secure inheritances for us. So the concept of investing school fees and having a system that blends industry sectors and everything, that blends theory, practical and everything, is to bring a generation that graduates with experience, exposure, financial stability and everything. At their graduation, they should be able to employ someone, to hire someone, create more jobs, do investments, right? So that we secure our inheritance. Do you know, we have got a lot of resources in Africa, but we are still, I don't want to say we are still being exploited, but I can say we are giving room to outsiders to just get it for almost free, because we are not able to build ourselves. We need to be given standards by someone on how to build ourselves. So if we look at our education system, this is a call to reframe it, to rebuild it. So no one goes down bazira manje anobva kuti vari kuti chikoro chirerwe chikoro chakanaka. I'm not against education. Education, learning and knowledge is different from the system. If you are able to separate that, then you are good. There's a lot that we need to learn. We still need to graduate and stuff, but let's tailor our education to benefit us. As long as we have broke people, we have poor people, even our leadership will be poor, our economy will remain poor. But if we empower our children, just like how God did it, He empowered the children before even giving birth to them. Are we able to do it in Africa, sticking to this kind of schooling system? Are we able to empower, to make an investment, to make an inheritance for our children at the same time that we are sending them to school? You know, it will be an excuse to say, I sent you to school. But the Bible here is saying houses and riches should come from the parents. And the parents will be saying, I sent you to school, that's why I'm broke. You are broke because you sent me to school. It's your right to build an investment, an inheritance. Before you give birth to me, what did you prepare for me? Okay, as a father of a nation, as fathers of Africa, looking at your children, what inheritance are they preparing for their children before giving birth to them? What are you doing about it? We're not tired praying for you, we pray. That's why God called us. But this is our duty again, to show you, to share wisdom with you, where we need to open our eyes and see. Then there's a father who is going to take this information and look at it, value it, implement something, and throw away what doesn't work for them. But if we are to look at things in this perspective as Africa, we're going to secure our inheritance. Just like how God had to prepare an inheritance before making the mankind. As a father, demonstrate this kind of fatherhood. Uri kumba kwako sababa, demonstrate this kind of fatherhood. Mwana wandakazvara kana kuti wandichazvara, I need to prepare something for this child. Vazhinji we are already late. That's why we are suggesting kuti educational system ngaigadzirwe inosaka mari yauri kubhadhara school fees inge ichiinvestwa somewhere for the same child. Zvinopa vana vese mikana yakafanana. Noza zvikoro zvinokwanisa kuti vana vange vachienda kunze kunosangana nema experts muindustry kunowana exposure and stuff ndeve vapfumi. But it's possible to make the same opportunities for every child. It shouldn't be something chekuti mwana anodesire kuti daenda kunombonosangana nema experts medicine, my experts robotics kana kuti whatever program yandiri kuita. Afani kushuvira kana kurota mwana. Kana system ikagadzirwa zvakanaka mwana wese anove nemikana iyo yakafanana. From the same funds you can say mwana uyu kubva for this 17 years we invested so much. Panguva yakati varoda kuti vambonoona zvakati, vambovhizita kwakati, vambodai. We take some funds, we send them out. They get exposure, they learn from experts, from real experts in the industry. That helps our nation and for us to improve. Okay? All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's take it again next time from here.